The Man Who Promised Me the Ocean. Part 1, The Lighthouse. My name is Isla. I come from a quiet coastal town where the ocean hums secrets to those who dare to listen. I used to believe love was like the sea, deep, endless, and sometimes violent. I believed it because he told me so. His name was Julian. He came into my life like a storm that didn't ask for permission. Tall, sun-kissed, with that kind of careless charm that made you feel like you were the only woman in a world full of distractions. I met him at the harbor cafe where I worked, wiping down sea-salted tables and pretending I wasn't dreaming of something bigger. "You ever been to Santorini?" he asked on the second day we met. "No," I replied, stacking mugs with shaking fingers. "I'll take you someday," he said with that half-smile of his. "You deserve to see where the water glows blue like sapphires." Julian wasn't from here. He was just passing through, a photographer chasing seascapes and stories. But somehow, he stayed. For me. Or so I thought. For a year, it felt like magic. Mornings with him meant coffee in bed and his camera pointed at my face. "You look like a poem," he'd whisper. Afternoons were filled with drives along cliffs and the windows down, his hand always resting on my thigh. Nights were fireworks. But it started unraveling in quiet ways, like how tides pull back before a storm. One night, I found his phone on the couch while he was in the shower. I wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't the kind of girl who snooped. But it lit up. A message. From someone named Amelia. "Last night was everything. I miss you already." I stared at the screen so long I forgot to breathe. He came out with a towel around his waist, smiling. I remember the sound of his whistle before he said, "You gonna join me in bed or stand there all night?" I didn't say anything. I just handed him the phone. His smile faltered. Part 2, The Wreck Beneath the Waves. Julian didn't deny it. He didn't stammer or invent some clumsy excuse. He just took the phone, looked at the message, then met my eyes with a calmness that shattered me more than any scream ever could. "It's not what you think," he said softly. But of course, it was. I didn't cry, not at first. I just turned away, walked to the window, and opened it wide. The ocean was roaring below the cliffs, and I wondered if it knew. If it could sense the betrayal pounding inside my chest like the waves on the rocks. "Who is she?" I asked, my voice eerily steady. "Someone I knew before you," he replied, like that was supposed to make it hurt less. It wasn't supposed to happen again. Again. That word was a bullet. I remember laughing. A cold, bitter laugh that didn't sound like mine. So this wasn't the first time? He didn't answer. And silence, in that moment, was louder than any truth. The next morning, he was gone. His things, his camera, even the mug he always used for coffee, it all vanished. Like he was never really there. Just a dream I told myself on lonely nights. I found the photo weeks later, buried under the drawer in our nightstand. It was of me, asleep, with a ray of sunlight brushing my face. On the back, he'd written, "You were the only truth I ever had. I'm sorry I ruined it." I wanted to burn it. I wanted to believe he was just another liar with pretty eyes and easy hands. But I couldn't forget the way he looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching, like I was the one thing in his life he didn't want to lose. And he lost me anyway. For months, I walked the cliffs we used to visit, searching the horizon like maybe he'd come back with that half-smile and a plane ticket to Santorini. He never did. But Amelia did. Part 3, The Woman in the Mirror. Amelia stood on my doorstep with tears in her eyes and Julian's journal in her hands. I recognized her instantly, from his photos, the few he hadn't deleted, the ones I found late one night in a hidden folder. She was even more beautiful in person. The kind of beauty that didn't try. Windswept, wide-eyed, tragic. "I didn't know about you," she said, handing me the journal like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Not until he disappeared. Disappeared. The word felt like salt in an open wound. She told me everything. How Julian had been with her for nearly 2 years before he ever met me. How he had promised her the same things: travel, a quiet life near the sea, forever. How he would vanish for weeks, saying he had photography work. She thought he was cheating on her then too. But when he met me, he didn't cheat. He left. He told me he was going to be better, she whispered. That he couldn't lie to you the way he lied to me. The irony was a bitter pill. I opened the journal that night, not sure what I'd find. His handwriting, sharp, messy, undeniably filled every page. Photos were tucked between entries. Me on the beach. Amelia in a Paris cafe. Landscapes from everywhere we went. Moments that now felt like ghosts. And in the last entry, written in faded black ink, he wrote, I built two worlds out of guilt and desire. I love them both. But love built on lies always drowns. I think I'm lost, and I don't know if I deserve to be found. Julian was never found. The police said maybe he fell. Maybe he left. Maybe he started a third life with a third woman, far from both our memories. But part of me believed he had finally let the ocean take him, the only thing he could never lie to. Amelia and I stayed in touch, strangely bonded by heartbreak and questions. One day, she showed up with a camera. Julian's. I think he'd want you to have it, she said. I started taking photos. First the places we went. Then the places I never dared to visit. I framed them, sold some, gave others away. But there was one I kept for myself, a photo of the cliff at sunset, the sea calm and endless. It hangs on my bedroom wall. A reminder that even the deepest wounds can become part of your story, not your prison. And though he promised me the ocean, I found something greater. I found myself. The end.